Hey everybody, and welcome back to Be Like Christ. Why does Jesus tell us to be like children? Let's talk about it. Matthew chapter 11, verse 25. At that time Jesus declared, "I thank you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that you have hidden these things from the wise and understanding and revealed them to little children." And then in Matthew chapter 18, Jesus says, "Truly, truly, I say to you, unless you turn and become like children, you will never enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." Now, I don't know about you, but when I was young, I couldn't wait to grow up. So why is Jesus now calling me back to some of the characteristics of my youth? Let's talk about a few reasons why Jesus would tell us to be like children. Number one is that children always run to their parents for safety. Whenever a child finds himself or herself in trouble, they run to their mom or dad, and they're supposed to be able to make everything okay. Now, when that child grows up, typically they grow out of that and they can take care of themselves. But that early attitude is one that Christ and God want us to have, and that is that when we're in trouble, we come to Him for our security and safety. Unfortunately, a lot of people in this world, even Christians, get under the delusion that they can take care of themselves, and that's really just not the case. Number two is that children don't worry about the evils of tomorrow. Children, unlike adults, don't stay up and toss and turn in their bed worried about what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or next year. And tied along in that kind of attitude is number three, and that's that children trust their parents that they are going to have shelter, clothing to wear, food to eat. When I was a kid, I knew that dad went to work and that paid for the house, and mom would go to the store and she'd bring back food and the fridge was going to be full when it got empty, and I didn't bother at all. The only thing I cared about was whether or not she bought Cheez-Its. All right, for number four, we need a little bit of context. So in Matthew chapter 11, verse 25, just before the passage that we read, Jesus has just finished condemning the cities who have rejected him. They've not accepted the miracles that he's done and not accepted him for who he's claiming to be. You know, as adults, we tend to get skeptical about anything that's out of the ordinary. Anything that we can't explain, we question its validity, or we seek to explain it. Children are never like this, though. They allow themselves to be in wonder. They allow themselves to accept that there are things beyond themselves that are amazing and worthy of being marveled at. And as Christians, especially followers of Christ in the first century when Jesus was going around doing miracles, that was an attitude that people really needed to have. They needed to allow themselves to acknowledge that there's something beyond themselves. And God is beyond us, and He's worthy of being marveled at. For modern Christians, recognizing that there's something beyond us is going to stimulate us to worship. Number five is humility. Jesus specifically mentions in Matthew chapter 18, verse 3, the humility of children, and that those who can humble themselves will be great in the kingdom of heaven. It's when we fail to recognize how far God is beyond us that pride begins to seep into our lives, and pride is the enemy of godliness. Here's number six. Children hate it when they are separated from their parents. Do we have that same attitude when it comes to being separated from God? You ever seen a child lose their parent in a grocery store? I did that when I was younger, and it's like a terrifying feeling. Are we terrified when we get separated from our spiritual father? Number seven, a real simple one. Children love to please their parents. And as children of God, we ought to love to please our Father. And here's the last one. In a sense, parents are the creators of their children, and their children seek them out and love them and are bonded to them because of that fact. Well, who is our creator? God, in the same sense that those children run to their parents, wants us to run to Him, our ultimate creator and Father. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope this video has given you some insights as to why Jesus tells us to be like children. And I'm sure that there's some that I've missed and haven't included. And put them down in the comments below if you can think of some that need to be added to the list. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share the video if it's been helpful to you. I appreciate all the support in the comments that I've been getting. And I will see you guys in the next video.